What's up, everyone? In this video, we're going to be talking about the best stocks for the rest of this week and the most important news you need to know about. Looking at the heat map from today, we can see that the market was overall pretty good as a lot of tech stocks boomed to the upside. The only main group of stocks that were down were these energy or oil stocks, down as we can see with ExxonMobil and Chevron, down anywhere from like 1.3 to 1.8%. But across the board, it was actually a really good day with many stocks blasting up. So, Tom, I know we have some pretty big news to talk about. What happened in the market today and what's important that we need to know?
Yeah, so stocks actually blasted up today in the middle of the day, Mike. And as we know, as we talked about yesterday, we had the FOMC minutes report coming out today and ended up being pretty good for the market. A lot of people were probably expecting that to make the market drop, but we can see here on the charts on TradingView here that the SPY really started ripping up here after this report came out. And the main thing is, or the main takeaway, I should say, from this meeting, Mike, is that the Feds are going to keep raising rates until pretty much inflation starts getting under control. As of right now, with inflation up over 8% and continuing to rise over the past few months, it's been pretty insane to see how much it's been going up. So they pretty much just kept reiterating that if inflation fails to come down, they're going to get more restrictive, as it says here, and they're going to keep raising rates and tightening that monetary policy, as Powell always says. But the good news is that they're reaffirming their commitment to bring down inflation. So that's why the market's probably liking this news. Obviously, as we know, the prices at the gas stations, grocery stores, and just everywhere in general have been on the rise. And at some point, it has to be stopped. So pretty much that's what they reiterated is going to happen.
Exactly. So anytime the Federal Reserve has any important event, it almost always moves the stock market. And today we saw one of those events, as Tom already said. It's just Powell didn't actually speak or anything. What we saw today was essentially a recap of the previous interest rate decision. And like Tom already said, the Feds are basically saying, hey, if inflation doesn't calm down, we're going to make sure it calms down. And with that comes some potential slowing of growth of just, the S&P 500 and just the economy overall, because as interest rates rise, it impacts everything from company earnings to mortgage rates to the valuations of stocks. So that's the important thing to keep in mind. The stock market was actually all over the place as this news happened, but overall it ended up in a pretty positive way.
Yeah, it did. And a lot of stocks ended up benefiting from this news towards the end of the day. Now, I'm not saying the market was overly explosive or anything today, but if we go check out like Microsoft, Apple, and stocks like that, you can see throughout the day, they did very well and they kind of followed the SPY there as the market started to break out. So that was good news. But I did see that some of these growth stocks, Mike, were really popping up, like Beyond Meat, Lucid, and stocks like that. Beyond Meat had a really big move in the middle of the day today. And then we even saw some like slower movers start to move today, like Costco and Walmart, especially early on in the morning here. And even whenever whenever the FOMC minutes report did come out. But yeah, it was a crazy day, Mike. I hope the stocks can keep rising up for tomorrow. They kept going up with that momentum off of yesterday. So I kind of like it. The SPY started breaking out. So hopefully we continue with this nice momentum. And I think we might be able to at least come up and retouch like 385 to 386 on the SPY tomorrow.
Alrighty, so Tom, in yesterday's video, we talked about NIO, which is a Chinese electric vehicle company. They had some big news related to their Power Day. What ended up happening with that event?
Yeah, so they came out. They actually, it was very early this morning, Mike, something like 3 a.m. this morning. They had Power Day over there in China, and they ended up talking a lot about their fast chargers, and they did unveil some stuff, but it was kind of like Tesla's battery day a year or two ago. It kind of like went over people's heads. And then also we had the FOMC minutes today. So I think that this was just a little bit overhyped maybe, Mike, and it didn't really help NIO's stock at all. If we go check out NIO here on the chart, they gapped down this morning and a lot of stocks recovered back up at the end of the day, especially China stocks, and NIO did not see that recovery. So it was a bit of a flop there, Mike, but we did have good news about an American EV company, Rivian. They said that they are actually confirmed, or they're pretty much confirming that they're on track to build 25,000 vehicles this year. And they pretty much slashed their guidance from 50,000 vehicles in 2022 down to 25,000. So it's good to see that they're at least making this cut, Mike, but still, I mean, it's good for the stock, but overall, they still slashed that overall guidance by 50%. And they're talking about barely making the 50% mark here. So I don't know. At least the stock went up though.
Exactly. So let's head over to Rivian's website really quickly. Rivian has had a bunch of hype ever since it came onto the market, as there's just a ton of, I guess you could say, excitement for electric vehicles right now and a lot of demand for them. Rivian as a stock, though, has not done too well. Looking at their stock chart, they had all-time highs of nearly $180, and right now it's sitting right just under 30. So it's been a tough ride for Rivian. Today they were up around 10%, which is great, as that news article that Tom just showed was released. But overall, they took quite the beating so far.
Yeah, they definitely have year over year, but so is every other growth stock. If we look at Zoom, even Meta, stocks like that, even those stocks have taken a lot of beating. So hopefully Rivian can come back, and they're starting to boost production and get going a little bit. So that's good to see. Maybe they'll start to come up in the shorter term. I know some big companies like Ford, Amazon, even like George Soros has stakes in Rivian. So we'll have to see how it ends up doing. I hope it ends up doing pretty good. I like their trucks personally, so I hope they come back. Honestly, though, Mike, I can't wait for those Tesla trucks to hit the market. That'll probably put Rivian out of business once those come out.
Yep, lots of competition is brewing in the electric vehicle space. It's about to get exciting over the next couple of years, not only with Tesla and Rivian, but a lot of these other, I guess you could say, traditional auto manufacturers. So it's definitely going to get interesting. Looking at Ford stock, they've also tanked quite a bit. Just earlier this year, they were closer to like that $25 mark, and now they're sitting around 11.
Yeah, and the algo was posting an overbought candle up there. It's been really on a downtrend ever since then, coming all the way back down to $11. So yeah, that's a brutal downtrend there. Even General Motors, another competitor there, was down as well. We're honestly getting some nice oversold signals down here. So looking pretty good, Mike. I think it might be time to maybe start to average into some of these, or at least sell some puts. We'll have to see how they go. I trust some of these car manufacturers that have been around longer, kind of like Ford and GM, way more than I trust something like Rivian. So I honestly have been eyeing some of these up for some longer term plays here.
Righty, there we go. Tom, before we move on, can you give us some levels on the SPY? I know a lot of people like them.
Yeah, 100%. So the S&P 500 has been all over lately. You can see on the daily chart, it's been really falling down. So over the past few days, if we look at like a 5-minute chart, they had a high of day today up around 386. It was really close to there. So I'm going to use 386 as a really big resistance for tomorrow. If we zoom out on the chart a little bit, you can also see that 386, we had a big bounce there also like a week or two ago. So keep that in mind. And to the downside, Mike, as far as support, I'm seeing a huge one down here around 382. And then another one at 383, but I will say 383 is like right around closing price. So that one might get a little bit shaky, but the main thing I'm going to watch for is that 386 resistance, because I'm really hoping to see the SPY continue on this nice uptrend here.
Alrighty, there we go. So let's get right into the momentum plays for tomorrow. With the first one, we have CAT potentially to the upside.
Yeah, I hope Caterpillar starts coming back, but go ahead and make them break out above 173.50 for tomorrow.
Alrighty, with the next one, we have Netflix also to the upside.
Yeah, NFLX, go ahead and make them break above that high of yesterday, like right around 186.20.
Sounds good. And then we have Disney also to the upside.
DIS, I was glad to see this one up today. It's been a while. This one's been under $100 now for a little bit, but go ahead and make them break above 97.
Alrighty, so we're watching Disney, Netflix, and CAT for potential day trades to the upside tomorrow, only if they break above the levels Tom listed. But I also want to give a giant shout out to our member of the day, Man. Huge shout out to Man. Thank you so much for increasing your activity lately. I saw that you've been in the chat for almost a year now, so huge shout out to you. Thanks so much for your activity lately. Tom and I really appreciate you. But Tom, do you have any favorite setups heading into the rest of the market this week?
Yeah, there was some stocks that really caught my eye today, Mike, and we haven't talked about them in a few weeks, but some of these stocks that deal with defense, like Northrop Grumman, were actually up quite a bit today. So looking at my watch list here, Northrop was up like 3.77% overall here since yesterday. So good to see them recovering up. It looks like they did have a bit of a dip there last week, but they are coming up in a big way. I also noticed Lockheed Martin was up 2.5% today. pretty good recovery moves out of these defense stocks. So I'll definitely be watching them. If we look on the daily chart, they've been kind of dipping off ever since that peak Russia fear there back in like March. So hopefully we can maybe start to come back to the upside here, Mike. I feel like that obviously the whole Russia situation is still ongoing and it's not quite over yet. So we'll have to see how those defense stocks do. But I just wanted to point that out because it was one sector that we haven't talked about in a while, and it did have some pretty good momentum today.
Very true. So the market has been wild, as we all know. One of the best ways to navigate this market is by taking advantage of the big days, both the upside and the downside, when we see them. And our bot has been doing an amazing job of that. So guys, check out that first link in the description and the comments down below. Our bot has been on fire. Today it called out the Intel 36 strike calls at $100 each, and they ran all the way up to $150 each within a couple hours. And then yesterday's play went from $395 all the way up to $720. So these are just two plays. The bot does lose sometimes, but it has been very, very hot lately, and it does an amazing job. If you do decide to try it out, not only do you get access to the bot, but you also get access to bonus day trade setups, swing trade plays, other custom bots, a private community, and you can chat with Tom and myself all day long. It's an amazing program, especially if you trade options or stocks for the short term. You can cancel at any time, and we have a coupon running. So definitely check out that first link in the description and the comments down below. It's an awesome program, and the bot's been doing amazing lately. So definitely check it out. Besides that, if you like today's video, make sure to subscribe and let us know what stocks you're watching in the comments down below. Besides that, let's have an amazing rest of the week.